But now, every time something comes on that has Bette Midler in it, I'm gonna have to think, oh, there's that crazy lady who called me a chump on Twitter. Okay, so I got some numbers here. So Bill Clinton did 364 executive actions. George W. Bush did 291, so a little bit less. Obama did 276, a little bit less, and Trump actually did the least, 218. $8 every 4 weeks for 1 year. $8 every 4 weeks for 1 year. Give me the math on that. It's $8 every 4 weeks for 1 year. So multiply that by 52. Can you do that? 8 times 52? Somebody help me here. We're ballparking. It's about $400. It seems like it's about $400. Work with me? Yeah, about his third-degree murder without getting too much into all of the specifics, but you should do a little Googling on your own. In essence, third-degree murder is like if you drove your car intentionally into a crowd of people to kill a lot of people, or you started firing into a crowd intentionally, just maiming people. First degree and second degree, that's probably what's more applicable in this. But Keith Ellison is throwing that third degree charge in there in a way, in my estimation at least, because he wants riots and he knows that this will make it harder to convict. That's the point, that if they had gone for the first degree and second degree, virtually everybody across the political spectrum and all over the world would have said justice was done here if he was convicted of those two things. But now by taking this leap, they're setting us up for further destruction. They're setting us up for further upheaval. But in essence, you're making a great point here that Attorney General Keith Ellison, he's ramping up a charge that sounds like it will be very hard to convict on. So I think he's intentionally going with this high charge. And short of a full conviction, and I think whatever that means, even if there was a full conviction, they would still find a way to go ahead with the violence they have planned, because that's part of the battle right now. It's not just a legal battle, it's a cultural battle. We're seeing like, 90% of the hospital beds in California are overtaken. SoCal and LA, all the hospital beds are overtaken. There's 2 hospitals that I live about 10 minutes between, and I drove by both yesterday, and they're pretty much empty. I did not go in and check every bed, so I'm just telling you what I can see on the outside, which are pretty much empty parking lots and the lines for COVID testing that are completely empty and everything else. So it's just like he took from you. Now I get that all these numbers are made up, and we're gonna go into some of the numbers in a minute, and it's 1 trillion for this and 350 billion for this, and it's all just made up numbers that get us further into debt, and we'll owe China more and more, and eventually we'll have to go to war with China because, you know, at some point it's just sort of like the mafia. You keep borrowing money from somebody, and if you can't pay them back, you kind of have to, you hope that your muscle's bigger than their muscle. Anyway, I will say one other thing on the recall situation. I am not completely ruling out a run for governor. David and I had a long talk about it. And the point is that we get rid of all of these things and then we say, oh, but the woman with the leaking pussy and the bucket and the mop and the whole thing and the girl dancing in the shoe, that's all okay. The other one that I saw this morning is that Hasbro has announced that Mr. Potato Head won't be called Mr. Potato Head anymore. He'll just be Potato Head because obviously that was offensive to somebody, or he wasn't really a man, or he is a man, or being a man. You could take the mustache off, then he's Mrs. Potato Head. I mean, did you watch Toy Story? There was Mr. Potato Head and Mrs. Potato Head, and you can switch all their